welcome to our signature segment, See the Stories on the 3-Hour News Show. Now, one of the most critical topics shaping the future of our planet is circular economy. Imagine a world where waste does not exist, resources are reused endlessly, and sustainability drives innovation.
But how do we move from the traditional take, make, dispose model to this more sustainable circular system? What role do we play in making it a reality? And what benefits can we expect, not just for the environment, but for our economy and society?
And to delve into this topic, we now have in the studio Low Carbon Development Indonesia Circular Economy Team Leader, Aditya Yusuf. Mas Adit, hello, and welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm really interested about this because recently we've actually had a lot of companies who've been making use of the upcycling and things like that, right? Is that part of circular economy? So what really is circular economy and how does it differ from a linear economy?
Right. I think if we want to talk about circular economy, we have to understand about the linear economy first, right? And linear economy basically is the way that global economy works for now. It's used the approach of take, make, and dispose. And then that's starting from the extracting of the materials. And realizing or not, everything that we have for now, like things that around us here, is actually coming from the nature, right? And then at some point, we know that all of these natural resources will vanish, will be depleted. So that after that, we need some kind of alternative solution for that. So circular economy become the solution for that. Circular economy try to decouple the way that the use of natural resources with the economic growth.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how we promote the circular economy, by using the reuse of the materials, prolonging the material use. And it's not only about the waste management. Some people might get misled by understanding circular economy only includes this recycling or the waste management side of the economy.
Because that does not end there, right?
Exactly.
Because circular means it needs to be put to use again after somebody has disposed of it or it's been managed.
Yeah, even before it is disposed. So when we start, when we use the product, we need to think that how we gonna use this, how we gonna keep this product to be used as long as possible.
Yeah.
So that's why we use the approach of repair, refurbish, remanufacture, the things that exist to promote it in the circular economy.
Okay, so does circular economy means like one product, as you mentioned, when it is created, and then we have this idea of circular economy. Does it have to be coming back to the beginning of that circle as the same product, or it can be, varied into different ones?
Yeah, obviously that will be our first choice to take once we make a product, and then at the end, once we dispose it, or when the lifetime of the product is end, it needs to be back to be the same product.
Okay.
But the cases, a lot of cases not happens like that. But that will be our first choice to do that. And that's why when we think about recycling, actually, let's say about the plastic bottle, it has to come back to the plastic bottle when it's recycled, not to be another product. There's some kind of initiative for recycling, let's say like recycling plastic bottle into textiles.
Yeah.
It can be a choice.
Or furniture or something.
Furniture, exactly.
Yeah.
But the first option or the priority is to take it back into the same product, because we know, come back to the idea, the first idea that the resources is finite. So that's why we have to keep using the material again and again.
But when you say economy, what kind of, why does it have to be circular economy? Why doesn't it have to be called, why doesn't it called, let's say, circular product making or product use, something like that? So can you explain more on the economic side of it?
So when we talk about this economy, obviously that it has to be get some benefits to the economy for the circular products. And then it's the way that it's starting from design of the product itself. Let's say circular economy needs a lot of innovation and also changing of the business models. But also to keep these businesses gain profits at some point. And if you look into one of the examples here, I want to give you some examples here.
Yes,
one of the
please.
company, because circular economy is like the European countries, they're leading in the circular economy applications. One company, electronics company in Netherlands, they actually put subscription business models for lighting. So think about when we actually needs the lighting, we don't, so when we buy the lamp, we don't actually need the lamp as a product, right?
We needed.
We need the light.
The light only, yes.
And then when this
Cut the bulb,
company
yeah.
tried to change the business models into subscriptions, and then they move the ownership from the customers to the company itself, that gives a lot of benefits to the both sides.
Okay, but
Yeah.
how is it in practical? I mean, practically, how is it done?
People can subscribe to the to some of the options to subscribe for this lights, and then they get this light bulbs to their homes, and they can use it like they use the as a normal. But then once it's what is it like? It comes to the end of the, let's say the lights is off, they don't need to throw it away. They just
return it back?
report it, they return it back to the company, and then the company will take it back, give the new one. Yeah.
I mean, those what you mean is like how it benefits the economy would be creating innovation or innovative solutions that creates a business out of, out of sustainable practices, basically, right? So here in Indonesia, what are the current policies and initiatives promoting circular economy in Indonesia? Because I understand that we've gone so far as to, educating people about waste management and recycling. And we've seen some companies actually recycling and then upcycling it to different products as well. Like, let's say plastic waste, they turn into different things now. They have like building blocks and things like that.
Yes.
How is it growing? How is this particular circular economy growing in Indonesia? And what specific, policies are there here?
Yeah. So I think the circular economy just gained its momentum for now, especially because it's also had some buy-in from the government. So just earlier this year, government just launched the roadmap and also action plan for circular economy. And in this document, basically, it gives some directions for the stakeholders to actually how they can apply circular economy. And then the good news is actually this roadmap and also this action plan is going to be integrated into the next 5-year plan for RPJMN. That means that it has some power to be implemented because it's now will be officially become a law.
Right.
Yeah.
Can all sectors and can all corporations participate in circular economy?
Yes,
Can.
for sure, yeah.
Okay.
As long as they understand about the principle. Right?
Yeah, so what are the specific sectors that you think would be having greatest potential in this circular economy? Because I remember one of the chief or the leader of BPS, she was saying that actually we want to have Indonesian GDP comprised of sustainable practices.
Right.
So maybe other sectors that you think is potential to actually join this or participate in this circular economy.
Yeah, I think there are, like most of the sectors can apply circular economy. But then the government actually has identified 5 priority sectors for the implementations, including food sectors, food, textiles, electronics.
Because we're the biggest waster of food.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Electronics,
Textile.
and also the plastic packagings.
Right.
You know, a lot of issues on that and the plastic. There's big issues in Indonesia. But their 5 sectors is actually the one that has been prioritized, looking at their contribution towards the GDP. They actually contributed about 1/3 of the GDP into Indonesia, and also the potential of circularity. Let's say for the food sector, we talk about, how big is the organic waste or the food waste actually produced or generated in Indonesia for now. But when we look into the potential, talk about the hotel or restaurants, when they produce the food, there's a lot of excess food there.
Yeah.
Imagine if it could be redistributed to
But
people.
that's also called circular economy.
Yes, it is included.
Redistribution
Yeah.
of pre-loved sectors,
Yeah, sort of
right?
like
That
It's
one.
also a very
Also.
simple example. Okay.
There's not
Yeah.
food, right?
Speaking about those priority areas, those priority sectors and areas are very interesting because they require specific infrastructure
Yeah.
to be able to, I want to say, recycle or be able to remanage it. You know, if it's a waste and remanage it already. I'm very interested in knowing. I know that it's definitely growing, the amount of infrastructure or institutions or factories that now process these wastes, right? How much do we actually need to be able to, at least how much do we have to grow, the big question, in terms of these facilities, to be able to manage the waste in these sectors? Because I understand that you mentioned there is GDP, this is a big chunk of the GDP. It has a lot of circular potential, but it also contributes to most of the waste. And talking about this circular potential, what would the cost be to be able to fulfill this circular potential? Because you have to, build specific facilities for some of these sectors.
Yeah, that's actually a hard question for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting,
Like
because it
we
makes
haven't
me
really
wonder.
calculated for that,
Yeah.
but actually, it's something that is possible for the business. You know, looking at the environment now, if we want to have such a repair ecosystem,
Yeah,
you know, for electronics, how many informal electronic services actually available around your neighborhoods? It's something that we has to tap in, because at the time they're all informal and they have some kind of their own challenges.
I agree with that.
And they also, mostly they're like micro enterprise, right?
Exactly.
So that's something need to be tapped in or integrated into the business or industries. They see this as an opportunity and then put them as part of the activity so that they can be part of the making the bigger ecosystem for them.
Yeah, because maybe just to start with, I mean, what would company able to do in order to apply this circular economy? I agree, though, when you mentioned that, because usually the companies would appoint like a third party or
Exactly.
different parties to make sure the services is ongoing, but the sense of belongings is definitely different.
Yeah.
So what would be like the simplest step, perhaps, if you could give like an advice to, let's say, an electronic company to start applying the circular economy?
Yeah, actually they can start to, I think, reviewing their business models. Yeah, think about how they're actually running the businesses at the moment. Yeah, because I think that once they move or shift into the circular practices, they can gain a lot of benefits on that. They can can also increase their competitiveness, let's say, because once they got this product more sustainable, there's a lot of markets will take on this product, I would say, because of the growing of the markets, also the customer awareness at the time.
With this application of circular economy in many sectors, for example, just out of curiosity, how much of a cut off in the carbon emission can we actually get out of this activity?
Actually, there is one projection that's made by Bapanas. There's a study of Bapanas that's looking at how circular economy implementation can bring impacts to the economy of Indonesia by 2030. Besides the economy, additional income to the GDP, it brings also some creation of the green jobs. And for that one, and cut off in the emissions, actually based on the calculation, according to this study, it could reduce about 126 million CO2 equivalent for the implementation.
Wow, okay, that's
That is certainly quite the amount.
Yeah.
All right, very interesting. Hopefully Indonesia can keep going rather than, you know, and I think a lot of at least small enterprises have started it.
Exactly.
And maybe we have to make sure that all the stakeholders are on board in this movement. Thank you very much for coming to see
Thank you
today.
so much for having me.
And looking forward to hear the next, updates from you.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, see, the stories will still continue, but that's going to be after the break. Don't go anywhere.